The following podcast discusses alternative sexual practices in loving and detailed terms, and as such may not be appropriate for young children, anyone who saw a flooded semi-truck on I-94 and thought, my Miata can still get through that puddle, or my mother, Mom, I know you want to be supportive of my endeavors, but seriously, stop the podcast and walk away. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to A Hairy-Prone Companion, a podcast of wholesome kink and perverted crafting. I'm Sir Arcane.
And I'm Lansing Mike.
And it has been wet, damp, rainy here.
Tornado-y. There's tornado warnings.
Yeah, that was fun.
I got to explore the basement of a bar that I'd never been in that basement before.
Oh, fun.
I was with friends we were at Salas Center, which is the LGBTQIA community center here in Lansing, had an open house yesterday, which I went, and I made a really cute tote bag because there was an artist who had made this really nice screen print of a unicorn, and it was pride, and it was wonderful. And I met some friends there because they wanted to support it, and then tornado warnings came up, and they were like, could everyone go to the back room where there's no glass windows? And we're kind of in there. It's like, how stable does this building seem? And it's like, maybe.
Yeah, building stability's in the news recently.
Oh, God. Just down the block was NBC. It used to be Michigan Brewing Company, Midtown Brewing Company now. I don't know. It's a brew pub. We're like, well, we want to get food. It's raining. There's tornado warnings, but why not be in a restaurant instead of a semi-crowded community center where everyone's a little nervous? And so we went over there, and the doors are locked, and we're like, oh, that was a mistake. But then a guy opens the door, and it's like, oh, we're all in the basement. There's beer. And we're like, okay.
We'll take a basement beer.
Yeah, well, mostly I'll take the basement. The beer was fine, and I ran to someone I knew there, and we were chatting, and then they're like, after a bit, it's like, okay, we can, it's like they were saying, we can't really serve anyone because all of our staff is downstairs right now. So, we're kind of on pause. So after that, we went back up and had a lovely dinner and conversation and more beer. And that was after. It was nice because, I'm trying to see on my phone what's going on, and my weather things don't tell me enough details. It's like, okay, there's a tornado warning. I hear sirens. Where's the tornado hitting? My weather app should show. Yeah. Didn't have a TV, but then when we got upstairs in the restaurant, there's a TV showing us what's going on. And so I'm like, okay. And also I can see outside. I'm the kind of person who like, oh, tornado warning. Let's go out onto the balcony and look. Because, that's my mom and I. We're the kind who are like, oh, we want to see what's going on. We need to be witnessing this. We can't just huddle in the basement, which is my aunt's reaction. She would be in the basement screaming at us to get downstairs while we're on the balcony scanning to see if we can see something.
Yeah,
and
no.
That is my way.
Yeah, it basically moved from Eaton Rapids to Holt, then out towards Owasso. And so we were really close to it. As such, I live on the garden level of this 3-story apartment complex that was built in the 1970s. It was built late enough that they did not have to include a lead paint disclaimer in my rental contract. So yeah, sometime in the 70s. Yeah, outside our door, around the laundry equipment was, all the people living on the second and third floors. Because it was passing right by us, and really heavy rain, really fierce winds. A couple of branches came down and blocked some roads, but no property damage that I can tell, and no hail, or at least not enough to dent the car. So,
that's the thing is, I realized that, I can't remember too many tornado warnings or even watches here in the Lansing area. I mean, it's funny because I was with friends who had moved in from Missouri, And I can't remember what sections of the country deal with what disasters. So I'm like, oh, tornadoes, and she's like, yeah, we're from Tornado Alley, and it's like, that we know tornadoes. I'm like, okay, good. Well, not good, but
But yeah, and Michigan tornadoes can't get as big as the tornadoes that you can get out on the plains.
Yeah, it's funny because our server was from Massachusetts, and she's not tornado aware. She's like, "Oh, this is really cool. This is neat. Oh, why is everyone nervous? Oh, maybe I should be nervous." It's like, okay,
yeah, she might be hurricane aware, but yeah. No, I was reading on Twitter a snippet from the New York Times of 1939. Mr. Smith of Long Island had saved for a long time to get an Abercrombie and Fitch barometer. He got it, opened it up, and the needle was stuck on hurricane. He tried to get it to work. He dashed off an angry letter to Abercrombie and Fitch telling them what piece of junk the barometer was that they sold him. He posted it, and by the time he returned, his house was gone, as was the barometer. Yeah.
That sounds spurious.
Possibly, but
but the most thing that I think the most interesting. So is this the Abercrombie? So is this the clothing company? Did they take the name from? So it sounds like they're an instrument making company.
I believe Abercrombie and Fitch back in the day was more of just a general department store.
Oh, okay, like a Sears or Woolworths or just a general, yeah.
Yeah, and
okay.
And then they decided, kind of like how Ford has decided that we're only going to make trucks now. They decided that clothing was their most.
We're only going to make clothing for muscular twinks. Okay, got it. We have a focus now. A very precise focus.
And of course, I read it on the internet, which means it's 100% accurate.
Yes.
Right.
But, okay. No, I mean, it seems like one of the stories just too good to be true. And
they at least got the formatting right for mid-century New York Post. So.
And I'm sorry, I hear the term. I hear Smith, and I think alias. Was his first name John?
Well, I'm also doing that from memory, and yeah, I don't have the tweet in front of me, which used his actual last name, but or a different last name. I just pulled Smith out of the air because that's what I could remember. Anyway, so yeah, my adventures that were detailed in the previous episode have continued. These past 2 weeks. I'll start with the lovely boy from Eaton Rapids. We had initially planned a week ago Saturday to go to Creek Ridge and introduce him to all of the beauty that is Creek Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, a week ago Saturday, it was raining buckets. No kidding. But Sunday was nice and clear. We were like, hey, do you want to go out there on Sunday instead? Probably be a bit less crowded, but we can still have fun. So he was like, yeah, meet me at the parking lot of this one bar in Eaton Rapids. I'm like, okay, I will meet you there at this time, and I'll take you out to the campground. He got to me just a wrung out, sweaty mess. And I'm like, what happened to you? It's like, oh, it's a brisk hour walk from my place to this bar. I'm like,
yep.
Really? Wow. Okay. I'm like, I could have picked you up closer. He's like, yeah, but there's not a lot of good places around Eaton Rapids to pick somebody up. He said between his house and the bar, there's not that many general parking spots. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever.
Okay, now that does make me think. It's like, so is it this on the down low for him? Like, could you not show up at his house?
He was not comfortable having me show up at his house where he currently lives with his parents.
Okay.
So I'm like, I could respect that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Parents are a thing. So, yeah. Anyway, we went out to Creek Ridge over some nasty construction. It said road closed to through traffic, but the road never completely closed. And I just had to slow down to 5 miles an hour where they had dug a trench across the road and mostly filled it, but hadn't tarmacked it over yet. So yeah, got there, showed him around, hopped in the pool, and ran into Doc and his husband.
Yay.
Yay. So I got to introduce my new boy to Doc. Got to see some drunken gay shouting and drama, and I'm like, oh, must we? Well, it's a gay campground on Sunday. And Doc actually suggested the name that we can refer to, that he agreed that we can refer to him by on this podcast, of George.
So no, okay, but so Doc suggested the name of George. For your friend who you had just picked up and brought.
For the new boy from Eaton Rapids.
Okay.
We'll call him George because he's a tiny, furry little monkey who just, when we were in the pool, he just grabbed onto my back and held on to me the entire time. And I'm like, that works both as, the monkey curious George, and also I will love him and hug him and squeeze him and name him George. Yeah. Very affectionate, wants to be hugged and squeezed and touched and kissed all the time. And I'm like, yes, please. I can absolutely do that for you.
After, more than a year of COVID, yes, human contact, and someone who is very desirous of human contact. That sounds pleasant.
It was very pleasant. Stayed in the water for a while. Then I introduced him to the game room on the back 40, got him in the sling, and gave him a pleasant working over. We had a few observers there and a few other participants who got in on the fun. And yeah, milked a nice thick load out of him, which was delicious. And then back to the pool where I don't know if you can see it on the Zoom, but I got a rather nasty sunburn on my forehead and nose, but
ouch.
Yeah. Week later, it's mostly peeled off. So yeah, I got to remember to spray the face and spray it down some more.
Or hats. Hats can be very effective.
I have to figure out a hat that would work well in the pool. Spending most of the time in the pool. I don't want to wear my my trademark hat, the black leather with the friendly pup, in a chlorinated pool. But yeah, maybe come up with, get a pith helmet, maybe something with a wide brim.
But that sounds nice. Yeah, I've yet to make it to Creek Ridge this year, and I'm kind of shooting for maybe the weekend of the Bear weekend, which is July 11th, 9th, 10th, 11th, somewhere in there, I think.
Yeah.
I know some people are going to be there for that, and and I know some weekends sell out completely, like the Glow weekend.
Glow weekend is completely sold out.
No, even
can't
day
even
passes.
get day passes. Yeah.
But generally, I think most, I imagine there's some other holiday weekends that might get that full, but generally the weekends I'm going to go for, I'm sure that they will have primitive tenting still available. That seems to always be they always say, well, we're full up, when they still have spaces, because people think of camping and they think, well, I need to have my electricity and my this and that. And I'm like, no, I just need space.
Yeah, I need electricity so I can sleep safely. But I mean, that's my limitation. When I was there, I did ask them about the bunkhouse, and they said under the COVID restrictions at that time, they were only allowing 2 people in the 6-man bunkhouse, and it had to be a single party. Yeah, it effectively became a third cabin for $70 a night for the 2 of you, rather than $100, or I think the other one's $75. But yeah, it basically ended up being a third cabin. Now that the COVID restrictions have lifted, should be able to get in renting just one of the bunks for $35 a night. Which,
cool.
Yeah, I figure that's $10 more than the combo pass, and I've got a spot to keep my stuff and catch a disco nap when I start flagging around 7:00. So I am thinking of doing that, not this weekend coming up, for 2 reasons. One, it's July 4th weekend,
Ugh, yeah.
which means they are probably already completely sold. Well, for some out, the bunkhouse has probably already sold
Mhm.
out. But also, there is a party that I've been invited to on July 3rd.
Ooh.
Um, so we will. I may be able to report on that party in the next episode. And of course, we got First Friday coming up, and
Oh
we'll
yes,
see
yeah.
who shows up because of the 4th of July weekend.
Hmm.
Doc said he'd be there this
Cool.
time because he has to stay in town, so he'll be there. I'll probably bring George along
Oh, cool.
for it, and
It'll be cool to put a face with the stories. But speaking
yeah,
of First Fridays and
yes,
people at First Fridays, I think you have some more gossip about someone else.
I do have some gossip about someone else that was at First Friday. I have spent some more time with the Pumper gentleman who was at that last First Friday. He recently purchased a sling from Fort Trough
Mhm.
and wanted to have somebody help him try it out.
Nice.
And I'm like, hey, I've got 20 years experience with that. And I've seen your toy collection. You've got the toys you have and that you take reasonably comfortably are larger than my fist.
Hmm.
So yeah, I can get a hand in you. Would you like a hand in you? He's like, yes, please. So in since the last episode, I have been over to his place twice. He
Had he done fisting before?
he had not done
Oh, cool.
fisting before with
Okay.
anybody, but he had been using good size toys. So yeah, looking at the
Cool.
at his toy collection, I'm like, oh yeah, you'll be able to take a fist if that's what you want. And he's like, yeah, I'd like to try something new like that. I got my hand in him and was able to get in reasonably deep and quite
Mhm.
comfortably and milk his prostate really well. After the last time we played, he sent me a message later that night saying, I tried to jack off. I came, but nothing came out. You must have really worked my prostate well. Yeah, that was fun. The Pumper gentleman, who I don't have a name for yet that is approved for use on the air. Yeah, he's very different from George. He is not nearly as affectionate. He's not as big on the hugging and touching and kissing.
Mhm.
It's very much no. We're focused on the hole. We're going to work the hole. We're doing pumping. We're going to focus on that. I'm like, okay, that's different. I can work with that. He also introduced me to his eStim box and set me up on that, and that felt really good. I wasn't able to get off from it, but I enjoyed the ride of it all. We had cranked it up a reasonable amount, enough so that afterwards, for a while, I still felt the tingle of it all, and so that was pleasant. Still feeling that tingly for the drive home. He will likely be at First Friday again as well. He recently got a pup hood, and he is interested in exploring what pup is. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, pup, I know.
And there's someone I've talked to. Yeah, the topic of pup hoods came up with someone I recently met, but their reasoning for it was they were thinking I might like to do an OnlyFans, and it's like, but I don't want to impact on my future career choices. So it's like, yeah, wearing a mask. It's like, yeah, then those pup hoods that could really work. So
Yeah, I mean that's
so
an
I
option.
that's why I had well, no, we did a whole business model for his OnlyFans career that was more, I think, intellectual than actual because, well, first of all, OnlyFans might be trying to get rid of the sex workers
Yeah, I
that
heard
set up,
that.
yeah, that basically OnlyFans was built on the backs of sex workers, and now they're like, oh, we need to be respectable, so some billionaire will throw us money. It's like, fuck you, no,
Yeah,
stop
that's
that.
what happened to Tumblr, and I'm like,
And so it was kind of delightful to talk to, and also it's very interesting because we had an interesting conversation in that about what the definition of open means in open relationships. His definition was I would say a little far afield because according to him, he's always, he has a partner, but
Okay.
he's like, no, I'm not. We're not open. We're not open. And like, okay, but then he's talking about, yeah, we had a time where we were broken up, and he slept with this really hot guy, and it'd be interesting to see if he wants to invite that guy in for like, some fun. And I'm like, thought you said you're not open. And he's like, I'm not. It's like open is when you're seeing someone and each of you go out of the relationship and have fun separately. If you invite someone into a relationship, that's not open. And I'm like, yes, it is. And he's like, what? And it's like, by most people's definition, open is opening up the relationship to any parties, third, fourth, fifth. If you invite a third into your house, in your bed, that's being open. And his eyes got wide. He's like, oh no. And it's like, so he was very sad by that. And he's like, oh, that's bad. Because he spends telling his partner that they're not open. So he's thinking, what's all the fun that I've been missing out on? Yeah. The other thing is, he was thinking, I was telling him, it's like, so if you're telling everyone you're not open, but they're seeing you being kind of slutty with inviting others in, they're probably thinking you're just a two-faced slut, two-faced jerk, that you are saying one thing but doing the other. And he's like, oh, that too. And it's like, yeah. It was a bit of confusion.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, it's like, am I defining it wrong, or is a new generation have its own way of? No. The more people I talk to, it's like, no, open is how I'm seeing it, a bit more than how he was seeing it. So
yeah, I can't speak to the new generation and the young folks, but there is a continuum to open. Open for you might just mean, yeah, the two of us have the occasional three-way. Or it might mean that, oh yeah, we go off, we have a companionate marriage, and we just fuck other people. And that takes care of our sexual needs, and we don't catch feelings for them, and we just return home.
Yeah. The idea of openness has lots of meanings, but to me, closed pretty much has one meaning, which is committed, exclusive monogamy.
Yeah. Not open being, monogamy, fluid bonded. Mm-hmm. Hey, more power to you if it works for you, but
and honestly, the definition doesn't really matter for the most part, except you and your partner need to be making sure you have the same definition for that.
Yes.
That's where it matters. Your actual partner that you are, your primary, or as long as you've squared with them what open means or what everything means, and
what the bounds and rules for your relationship are.
Even the term of sex, it's like, you cannot have sex with other people. Cool. Define sex. I know there's some people of the younger persuasion actually view blowjobs and anal sex as not sex, because sex is only penile vaginal penetration. That can lead to some very huge misunderstandings when you have those different. So the important thing is the square up and match notes with the people in your life that you're going to be fucking, and you'll probably be fine.
Or I'm part of a pan kink group where there are several couples with only one kinky partner. And they've come to an understanding that, yes, you can have a BDSM scene with somebody else. Somebody else can tie you up and spank you and do all sorts of horrible things to you, as long as they don't touch your genitals. That's the one thing. And
or fuck your ass or kiss you. Yeah, there's different levels of what's not.
No penetration, no genital touching. And they said, after she has this intense BDSM experience, we fuck like rabbits that night. It works for them, and hey, more power to you. So
as long as there's the
understanding,
the communication of what you are comfortable with, and that agreement, self-knowledge of what you're really wanting and going for, and then the communication to spell it out to each other so you avoid misunderstandings.
Yes, we do want to avoid the misunderstandings. I had half of a something.
So you had lovely monkey fun and some pump fun
and some electro fun, and I got to try a new product from the Butters Hygienics Company,
ooh,
available at getthebutters.com. I have been using this past week the DILF Trace Butters Body Cleanser Bar. Their uber moisturizing, luxurious, detergent-free body cleanser bar infused with the DILF scent essence of Damn Daddy. Bold, powerful, chill, irresistibly welcoming, hypnotically desirable. Packed with moisturizing mango, shea, and cocoa butters, plus coconut oil and glycerin. This is the cleanser bar you need. We have been sending quite a few people to the Butters, and they wanted to show their appreciation of all of our hard work. So they sent us a DILF gift pack, which included the DILF Trace Butters bar and another bottle of the DILF beard oil, which I really enjoy. And also in there is DILF perfume and the DILF scented body moisturizer / lubricant. So we'll probably be reviewing those in upcoming episodes. I need to hand those out so that all of the members of a hairy prone companion can enjoy something. Yeah, I've been using this cleansing bar. It suds up really well in city water. It smells like the beard oil. It is the same scent, not nearly as intense, but yeah, it's the pleasant scent that I kind of think smells like donuts, and who doesn't want to smell like a donut?
well, and my only trouble with I have not smelled it yet, but when you describe, when you say DILF, I think dill, which is a lovely scent. I don't know if I want to be spreading it on my nethers, but it couldn't hurt. It's a great scent. Well,
Yeah.
and then you think, what better than a pickle scented dick? It just seems very appropriate. But no, I know it is not dill.
A dill
It's
gherkin. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, it's DILF, not dill.
Dilf.
But
Yeah.
you can start with that and it's like, ooh, dill.
The Butters, of course, also has other body scrubs, facial masks, and sexual lubricants and beard oil. The DILF Trace Butters bar can be yours for only $9, and use the promo code HARRY at checkout for 15% off your order and free shipping. Once again, that's thebutters.com. Use promo code HARRY for 15% off your entire order and free shipping. I do have one cautionary story about Butters products. And this is completely my fault. This is no shade on their products. So when I took George out to CRC, I brought along one of their jars of their shea butter lubricant because I had purchased, I was running low on the palm grease, and I'm like, I want to try all of their lubes. So I got the sampler pack. And I brought the shea butter with me out to CRC. And I left it in my backpack in the sun. And it the viscosity kind of dropped all the way down to water and kind of leaked out of the jar and into my backpack. Yeah. So I can't.
So that was two mistakes of leaving it in the sun and also not securing it.
And yeah, also, yeah, not
tightening the lid enough.
The lid was tight, but then again, the lid is also designed for it in a much thicker state. So once it got all the way down to water, it started to leak out.
Okay, so that's mostly on you, but also the packaging. It's a solid, but it could liquefy.
It could liquefy in high heat and direct sunlight, and yeah, it's so yeah.
Not so much a criticism, more of a be aware, and also
be aware,
and also informing them. So maybe this is something that they different type of bottle, different type of seal, because most bottles do seal tight.
Yeah.
So
It, yeah, it might have been partially me because, yeah, because I had opened it up. I'd opened it up. I'd used it on the boy. I put it back away,
Mhm.
put it in my bag with my clothes, and
Hmm.
then at the end of the day, I pulled the clothes out, and I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
that's a grease stain on my shirt. Oops.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I count that mostly as my fault. That's me not thinking about what I put in there. And I'm like, last time I brought J Loop there, in addition to having it in the bottle, I also bagged it up
Mhm.
in a plastic bag to be sure. It's I'm like, I don't want the J Loop leaking out. I didn't. Yeah,
Mhm.
no, I didn't think. Oh yeah, this might leak because I was thinking of it at the butter level viscosity that I'm used to, not thinking about what butter level of viscosity is at 90 degrees in the sun, which is
Yeah.
oil.
Yes.
Um,
No, I don't really have any exploits that have happened to me weekly, but I do have like I think that maybe yeah next weekend there's my friend was like, hey, what's your schedule next weekend? I'm like, uh, pretty open, so there could be some fun. The only real thing I did was I yesterday I just had wanderlust and I went to nearby town for some shopping and I got lunch at a place that I like a lot. While I'm waiting for my food, I bring up the grinder. It's like, oh, let's see who's around this new town. And get you, you turn it on and you're the new face, and suddenly it's like there's four people like, hi, hi, hi.
Hi.
And I feel bad in a way because I'm not looking. I'm not, what's they're what are you doing? What are you, where are you going? I'm like, I'm just traveling through. Sorry, just waiting on my food. Now there was one who I think he was cute. He sent me, he said, "Oh, do you have a nice dick?" And like, first of all, what kind of fucking question is that? Basically, that is the question to get a picture of the dick.
Right.
That is
Right.
the answer to, "Do you have a nice dick?" Well, here's what it looks like. I didn't have any easy dick pics to send on my phone while I'm sitting there in a public restaurant. So I think I said, "Well, the guys I fuck have no complaints, or seem to like it." Something dommy like that. And I said, "Well, do you have a nice ass?" Which then I got some ass
Got
pics.
all the ass pics. Yeah.
It's like, cool. I go, well, when I'm back, when I'm off the road, I can send you something. Got back home, loaded up some, sent him a couple, and then promptly he disappeared, blocked or. And I'm like, again, another reason why just Grinder is just such a fucking wasteland. Either now he had no location set, so it could have been a scammer just trying to get pictures. It could have just been someone who saw the pictures and like, that's not a nice dick. And like, block. So it's like fair enough. Everyone has a different definition of nice,
Efficient.
I get.
Yeah.
So and mine didn't match his, or who knows. But yeah, just that kind of interaction, it's like, ouch, that not pleasant or not polite. That's the Grinder rule for of this episode is be nicer.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
I've.
if if you see it and it's like, oh, I don't care for that too much, then just continue the conversation, but keep it unsexual, and then just ghost eventually. Don't just like block, make it
Yeah.
obvious your intentions. Like, be polite.
You might have better luck on Growler or Scruff. I've never
I'm on
heard.
those too, but
Yeah. I've never heard, at least not recently, anyone with a positive Grinder experience. That just about everybody I've talked to has said it's a vast wasteland.
well, I
Or
think they all are, but I think Grinder's the big boy on the block, so I think that's the one that people are more familiar with, and as such, it draws more attention from scammers and bots and assholes.
yeah, and
Growler
assholes.
and Scruff, I think, are a bit more focused. It still can be some jerks on there, but I think generally it's a bit more real people trying to real hookups. Yeah,
Hmm.
I've gotten the occasional obvious fake ad on there where someone is like, I think to myself, wow, this feels like Grinder. But or they just have a better scrubbing because it's a smaller group or company. Maybe they just have a better time of cleaning out the chaff of scammers and bots.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I'm in discussions with someone on Scruff, actually. It seems very local. It's funny because their pictures are all very different. So it's like, okay, you're not that old to have that wide range of different looks. These are not pictures that span decades. So it's like, okay,
what's going on here?
I don't know which one's the most representational, but they're obviously the same person, but angles, lighting, who knows? I mean, the other trouble with me when you say like having worse luck on Grindr, I'm never the aggressor. I'm never the one who says, "Hi, how's it going?" It's always passive on my end. It's like, who actually says hi to me? So I think I get more, again, probably because it's scammers and bots, more action
Right.
on Grindr. But this person said hi, and it's like, ooh, they're local and they're cute. They're studying to be in the same kind of field that I'm working in, so that's something to talk about. And also, when they like list interests, they're like, "Ooh, gaming." It's like tabletop gaming. I'm like, okay,
Ooh.
yeah, yes. Even if we've never we must talk face to face and talk of work and nerd stuff.
Play a game of Settlers and compare notes on work
No,
stuff.
no, not board games. Tabletop role playing games.
Oh, okay. Play it.
When I talk about gaming, I'm always exclusively talking about tabletop role playing games with paper, pencils, and dice. Board games they're nice, but to me, it's like or in console games, no. So that's my definition of openness with gaming. It's like, no, it has to be. I don't want to say D&D because that's like the Kleenex of role-playing games. Everyone says D&D. It's like, it's not all D&D.
Pathfinder or Monster Hearts or Bluebeard's Wife.
So many.
Yeah. So yeah, the entire Powered by the Apocalypse line. All those fun.
There's so many games out there, and it can be, yes, exciting.
Moving on to the expert portion of our show.
Actually, sorry. One more bit of gossip.
Yes.
We need to acknowledge, and maybe I realize now, maybe this should have been the expert portion. Today, I think the 52nd anniversary of the Stonewall Rebellion.
Yes.
On the very day we're recording this is June 27th, which is it is the start of the modern gay liberation movement.
Yes. New York cops raided the mob-controlled Stonewall Inn, and on that day partially because Judy Garland had passed away earlier that week, the queens there said, no, we're not going to roll over today. Mm-hmm. We're pissed off. We're going to fight back. And yeah, as the shirts and the signs say, the first Pride was a riot. And yeah, it was a riot against, the cops. Yes, being in a gay bar was technically illegal. Wearing clothing not of your assigned gender was technically illegal.
Which is not an excuse, because earlier in our country, slavery was technically legal. So legal does not mean moral or right. Just because a law is a certain way does not mean it's right or even should be obeyed.
This was, the Stonewall riot, the birth, and it is telling that it was drag queens and transgender people of color that kicked this off. These were the people who couldn't hide, could not blend in comfortably with polite society. And these were the people who had the least to lose. At that point, they said enough. No, and they fought back.
Enough. Yes.
Yes. They said enough is too much, and we're fighting back. Dan Savage observed recently that it was the drag queens and the hairdressers and the ballet dancers who came out and made it safe for professional football players to come out rather than the other way around.
Yes.
Yeah. So we talked about this a bit on our previous episode about kink at Pride, right?
Mhm.
That's part of why I still like seeing the drag queens and the leather folk at Pride. The kinksters and the leather folk were on the forefront. They were the vanguard, along with the dykes on bikes and such. Those who couldn't hide, who
Or wouldn't hide. Maybe they could.
or yeah,
They're
who
like, no,
wouldn't hide.
I'm making this decision to be out, even though it's going to give me nothing but shit from society in general. But I need to be true to myself, and society in general is fucked, and I need to let them know that.
Right. That, the punk act of rebellion of being yourself, letting your freak flag fly and showing the world we're here, we're queer, get used to it. And that there are a good number of us. Pride wise, I was reading a stat on the internet, again, 100% accurate. It said that it's estimated that approximately 3.5% of Gen X currently self-identify as some form of, we'll use the term queer. Now, that's Gen X, and we lost a lot of queer Gen X members in the 80s and 90s. So, need to take that number with a grain of salt. And it compared that with 30% of Gen Z are identifying as some form of queer. So, yeah,
Either people are more comfortable truly expressing themselves. Sometimes it might be a matter of them actually knowing that they are queer. I think there's a lot of people who, especially people who are on the bi spectrum, were like, I'm not going to pursue a sex relationship because I can. Oh, I've met this wonderful person of the opposite gender that I'm clicking with, and that I'm getting all this societal reinforcement of going for that, and may never realize that they're queer because but and again, who knows, probably not real, but there was this wonderful tweet about a young woman came out to her grandmother and was defining gay as like, well, I like to look at women's butts, and the grandmother's like, oh, we all look at women's butts, they're nice. And then her sister said, I've never looked at a woman's butt. And then the grandmother later called the person and said, you know what, I think I might be kind of gay.
Way to go, grandma.
And it's like that is one of those beautiful stories that probably didn't really happen, but
probably not. But
again, this idea of like, oh, I can appreciate the female form when I'm a woman. It's like, yeah, there's a bit of queerness to that. Accept it. But back then it was just not even something that was on their radar. But I think the other thing is too is these surveys that have the percentages. Yeah, I really need to see how it was delivered, because there was a famous survey that quoted that I think it was 1% or 0.1% of the population was gay. And the conservatives were all like, see, this group isn't that big at all. We shouldn't give them rights, which also is bullshit. It's like,
it shouldn't matter how big we are. Yeah.
But they found out that what it was a random phone interview with strangers saying, have you, in the past 6 months, have you been exclusively gay? And this small percentage said yes to that question. And I'm like, okay, first of all, you're going to be truthful with that kind of question to a rando on the phone. Also, exclusively gay in that time period.
Yeah.
Even gay people might have a thought or something, or have done nothing in the last 6 months with anyone, and therefore would have to answer no. So yeah, that was just not a
I didn't see enough on the survey to see their methodology, but the phrase self-described was used in there. So, and another thing that I think contributes to that is a greater awareness, not only of homosexuality, the spectrum, bisexuality, awareness of people being trans, but also a vastly increased awareness of asexuals, and that is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing, and it is a part of this same pride umbrella, because it's not your standard straight.
I mean, and that's one thing I noticed at the Salis Center. They had this whole table full of buttons. It was a button making station, but they had cutouts of all the flags, so many
Mhm.
flags. And I'm standing there with my friends trying to explain, well, this is the Philadelphia Pride flag, and these colors were added recently, and it's too. And then also, like that one's the bi flag, and that one's the trans flag, and these are all different ones that I'm not completely familiar with.
Yeah,
But there's at
here's
least a good.
the ace flag. Here's the
Mhm.
non-binary flag. Here's the pansexual flag. Here's
Yes.
the intersex flag. One of the people who helped inspire me to create a hairy prone companion, I want to get his name right. He now has a YouTube channel, a Twitter, and a TikTok
Mhm.
called Ace Dad Advice, and his name is Cody DeGalorians. He identifies as
That is an actual glorious name. Yes, I'm glad you got it right, because that is a great sounding name, and I could understand why you had to remember. It's like, oh yes, okay, but
yeah. Well, I wanted to get it right because he and his ex-husband had a podcast called Bearded Fruit,
Mhm.
and
Oh yes, okay, I remember that. Yes, before
yeah,
the changeover of phones, that used to be on my podcast
right.
thing.
So and they were part of the ones that convinced me to do a podcast.
Mhm.
But at the time that they were recording Bearded Fruit, Cody identified as purely a gay man, and it took him years to realize that what he really was asexual and homoromantic,
Mhm.
and that caused some issues in his marriage. But now he is embracing the asexual label and has this has is giving out ace dad advice. I believe he's in his 50s, has a nice thick gray beard, is rocking the daddy look, and is providing this advice as an elder ace to the young ones who are trying to figure out, am I ace? What does that mean for me? How do I live my best life as an asexual person? And he's writing a book, and has gotten a contract to publish it. Going
Nice.
to be out sometime in 2023. And I retweeted that announcement. Yeah, I will push that once you're able to throw money at him. I will
And that,
recommend that as well.
I think an important part with labels, there's forever there's always the person who says, oh, I don't believe in labels, or I don't like labeling, I don't like being pigeonholed, or but I think for every one person who feels that way, I think there's multiples who are like, yes, please give me a name to what I am.
Right.
And that will give me so much power over determining my own life and figuring myself out. Because you can't figure yourself out until you've actually realized that there's something there.
Right. I mean,
Think of all the people who think of all the transgender individuals who back in the day it was the terms were transsexual, so it was all about the the reproductive organs and what you had, or cross-dressing. It was just about these were all elements of it, but they maybe didn't really hit the right thing that you were or you felt, but there was no way to define yourself. So yes, please, many labels, many options, so you can actually kind of fine tune and figure out exactly where you are on all those names, which I think can't hurt.
right. And we need to let these names and these groups be descriptive rather than proscriptive.
Well, that was a big thing
Yeah.
with when I used to work on the hotline. One of the issues was if someone says that they are transgender, the thing to do is to ask them what they mean by that. Like
Mhm.
a caller says, well, I'm transgender. You were supposed to, that was an opening, a situation where you said, okay, could you explain to me what that means for you? And even though then when they describe it, you might in your own mind say, no, that's actually this. You don't correct them because that's their
Right,
definition.
right.
Go. It's like openness. What is your definition of
What
open?
is your definition of open?
Yes,
Or
and it's good to like get those terms and also like not say, well, this is what it is. We've made this list of things. Tell me where you fit on it. It's more like open. It's an excuse for a conversation to say, tell me about yourself,
right.
which such a powerful. That is such a powerful tool in conversation. It's like, tell me about yourself. Tell me what you feel. Like opening up to other ideas. Yum, that's
Right.
sexy.
And it's also, a wonderful shorthand.
Mhm.
As these labels become more disseminated, yes, I'm gay, and you have this general idea, and you're both hopefully starting from the same. We're starting in the same general area, and then we can define down to exactly where each person is through further conversation.
And it works for every group because if someone says, "Oh, I'm Christian," well, what the fuck
Oh,
does that mean?
that's a
You know,
massively huge group. Yeah.
yes, it's like it could mean that you are truly following in the words of Christ and love everyone or doing your damnedest best to social justice, or it could mean that you are, oh no, everyone who doesn't believe this very specific denomination is going to burn forever, and we have to tell them that. It's like it encompasses both of those,
Yeah.
and so many others. But yeah, it's important to ask, well, when you say this, what do you mean? When you say you have a closed relationship, what do you really mean? And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, you accept
Oh.
thirds. Cool.
Right.
Cool. That.
Well, and just for myself in my own evolution, in my teens and my 20s, and even going into my 30s, I very much thought of myself as exclusively gay, all about masculine, the hyper masculine, the dick, all of that. As I'm in my 40s now, I am helping a non-binary person online explore their more feminine side. I've enjoyed pornography starring trans men, and I'm exploring more of that. In casual conversation, I will still call myself a gay man because that is at the moment the best fit of all of these vague labels. I'm not ready to call myself bi. I will call myself gay, partly because I'm married to another man, and that's a thing. But these labels, they are not static. People change and understand who they are better over time, and different things turn your crank differently as you age.
I think that's kind of bringing it back to pride. That's what pride is wonderful for, where you get to see so many other people expressing themselves differently. It's not all, if you want that sanitized pride where, all the lesbians are in flannel and, are the stereotype and all the gay men are in polo shirts with popped collars. Okay, I'm dating myself with this. You have this image, and if you just see a whole bunch of people like that and buying your rainbow bric-a-brac, that's something. But also, I want to see the all the various flags and who's marching under them, and I just see it all so that you can see that it's out there to maybe think about your own self, but also have a chance to talk to them and say, what is this? Like, honestly, I have yet to really fully grasp or understand, ace, demisexuals, hemisexual, all these variations, aromantic. I think I've seen definitions, but they've never cemented. And it's like, and I know I'm somewhere on that spectrum myself. I say, I also usually identify myself as a gay man, but I know it's there's many more shades to it, and I need to learn the definition so I myself can like formulate and figure out, okay, what's the longer label?
Yeah, I will. I'll get you the links for, and I'll include them in the show notes as well, for the ASTAD Twitter and YouTube page for anyone who thinks, am I? Could this be me? Well,
Could be.
Here's a resource to learn more. You may be.
It's just like kink. It's like, could I be kinky? And well, try it.
Yeah,
And
give it a shot. See how well the kinks fit you. See how well these labels fit you.
maybe start with the cheaper ones that if it's not your thing, you haven't sunk a whole bunch of money into a full uniform leather uniform outfit. Not
Yeah.
I actually know no one like that, but I could see it. I could see someone just, oh, this is a thing. Hey, we need to buy this.
Yeah, we need to
Price
buy
excess.
everything. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, oh, puppy
I'm
is
that way.
neat.
I'm that way with games. Oh, there's a new role playing game. Oh, it has a screen and cards and specialty dice. Yes, let's buy it all. Will I ever bring it to a table? Probably not, but I
Probably
have
not.
everything.
You've got it. Or oh, puppy, I need to buy a hood and knee pads and fist mitts and a tail and a harness and a
A
bow
show
and
tail and an insertable tail and a bar tail. And yes, in many ways, I can be a cautionary tale.
yeah. I mean, the worst when it comes to a full leather uniform, the worst I've seen of that is, oh, I'm gonna dump a couple $1,000 into a leather uniform and then lose 50 pounds.
Ooh.
And I mean,
Well,
both of
then
those things separately are great, but yeah, put them together and like, oh, I got to get it tailored. I have to have several inches taken in on the shirt and the pants and
or the resale value. There's
yeah,
bound to be someone that size out there who wants a full leather uniform.
yeah, and I mean, leather you can pass down through,
Yes.
through the generations. Okay.
Well, first of all, sorry that I completely hijacked
Oh.
You had a topic in mind and I completely hijacked that because I thought, oh, maybe we'll just discuss, just bring it up. And it's like, nope, it turned into a topic, but it is the season.
it is the Pride season, and my topic is evergreen, and Pride is more timely. Also on Pride, and I wanted to get this out somewhere. I saw the finale of Pose, which amazing, amazing show that not enough people have watched. And in it, three trans women of color are at this bridal boutique and are refused service. Electra Abundance just reads the owner for complete filth, while flashing an American Express Platinum card. This card has no limit. I can buy out your store if I want to. And yeah, she had the funds to back it up anyway. And it got me thinking. I'm like, Vera Wang, are you still making wedding dresses? Trans women of color, bridal magazine. You know what your next cover should be? Trans women of color. And not in June, not for Pride Month, just some random October. Have a trans woman of color on your cover. And I do hope that all of those women who were in Pose and did amazing work for these past 3 seasons get more work. That is my wish to the universe, that casting managers hire these very talented women. So
and hire them. I mean, first of all, it's one of those things that I think for the casting, it's like when you have a trans character, I think we're still early enough in the thing that, cast a trans person as a trans character. Yes, they're actors. You can be different, but right now that you've been overlooking them for so long, give them enough love so they're actually playing those parts. On top of that, also be casting them as women because they are women. They are women. So, and also actors. And damn it, there's talent. So, and people are like, well, is that fair? And it's like, so a trans woman could be cast as a woman because they are, but also as a trans woman. But a woman shouldn't be cast as a trans woman. It's like for now,
for now,
because it's been not going that way for so long. So you know what? A generation of just doing it, and then once it's not an issue, then cast your yes. Do it the way you've been doing it forever anyway. So that was crafting. It's easy. Nothing. I've done nothing.
Yeah, no, I have not done anything myself. Yeah, the new job has taken up a lot of mind space. I need to crack open the books I have gotten, get inspired, and break out my see if I can find it, at least my cabling needle. I want to work on the cabling patterns and the more interesting knitting patterns in the complete book of knitting from the 60s that I have,
Mhm.
and just have those techniques and practice those techniques.
Yeah,
Even
I
if
think
I just end up making, interesting pot holders at this point, I want to practice.
but you practice. I think that mine's not even that far. Mine is I need to, yes, organize the books and tools and materials for just everything, and then say what do I feel like pursuing, and pick pick one and do it.
Yeah.
So that's crafting. Well, this is almost gossip again, but just before we started, I got a message from my friend because we were discussing getting together in a weekend, and then we got a little saucy. And
Mhm.
I have not opened it yet, but I think it's something that could be fun. And oh yes, oh that's nice. Yes, he sent a lovely. Oh God, yes, he
That
has such a nice dick. So I'm
such
gonna be.
nice anatomy.
Yes, and it's a great picture too. Just oh my God, it's everything in it because there's like a head thrown back and obviously something like pleasurable. And oh, and there's so many books in the background. This is like the perfect porn shot. Oh God, yes, this is nice. So thank you very much. If you are listening,
And makes for wonderful radio too.
sorry, I'm not. This is not getting shared with anybody. No one else gets to see this but me. Yeah, that's I yeah, sorry. Yeah. So but what was it? Yeah, I was like, oh, I bet you there's a dirty picture in this message. I'm gonna wait and actually reveal it on the podcast, and I'm glad I did. So I was like, nice, nice. So yes, please, not just people we're fucking, but all of our listeners out there, send us dirty pictures. You hear it. We always say it at the end. Do it.
We
Do it.
always say it at the end.
And we'll praise them online. Okay, and we'll be nice about it because don't share negative shit. If someone has the decency to send you, if someone has a decency to send you a picture of their dick, treat it with respect, even if it's not your thing. God damn it. Okay, unless you're a woman and you didn't ask for it, then
we are requesting dick pics.
Yes, this is completely
unsolicited
consensual.
dick pics. Yes, you read them for Phil. You bring up every nasty thing about that dick possible.
If you did not ask for it, no.
No unsolicited dick pics. Yeah, no, I will criticize everything, including the background. Upcoming events: 4th of July weekend is coming up, so that's first Friday, a couple of days from when this podcast goes live.
Esquire Bar starting 8-ish.
Eight.
I don't know. I mean, the restrictions on dining and all that stuff expired on the 22nd. I don't know, but each business can still pursue whatever policies they wish. I don't know. I'm assuming I have no idea. I don't know if Esquire's going back to the.
We'll see what Esquire.
But we'll find out. We'll find out and report it.
Yes. I'll probably end up walking in there wearing my free dad hugs face mask just to be polite.
I'm taking a mask. I'm still masking up for all the rest of the summer in any public space at first because just reasons.
Been invited to a play party the following day. I will report on that what I can. And then
I think I might have too.
I think you're on that list, yes.
But I'm bad about checking things and getting back. That's one thing COVID has really robbed me of, is actually responding to stuff in a timely fashion. I mean, not that I was ever good at it, but I'm even worse now. So yeah, that's probably something I need to deal with this week to at least give regrets, because that weekend I'm pretty scheduled, I'm afraid.
Yeah, no, the host did realize that I'm scheduling this for a holiday weekend. Not sure how many will show up, but everyone who does will have a grand time. And then the DBC in Exile, effectively, that went to last month. There's another one of those coming up in July. So I am looking forward to that, and hearing rumors that maybe end of August, early September, Detroit Bondage Club official may be back online. So yeah, we're looking at either late summer or early fall for that, and it'll be nice to get back in the clubhouse and see all those guys again, even the ones that I saw at the DBC in Exile party. And yeah, looking forward to having a lot more fun with the rest of the summer, and hopefully not every single weekend will be rained out so I can get back to CRC.
Yeah, at least the forecast so far is rain every day till next Thursday. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Yeah, rain. Well, I mean, we need the rain. The river and lake levels are low. Perhaps not so much at once that our freeways turn into rivers as well.
oh yeah.
But
Or the skunk that was hit on the road in front of your house that was kind of one lane over and not somehow has washed into my driveway.
ooh,
Discovered that this morning. I'm like, great.
that's unpleasant. And on that
Yep.
note, run out of time again. Please send your questions, comments, show ideas, dirty pictures, project photos, or dirty pictures to sir.arcane@harryprone.com or lansing.mike@harryprone.com. Tweet at us. We are at harrypronecomp. Our theme music is Hotspot by Aux, used under the Creative Commons Attribution License. Please be sure to listen to our friends on the internet, The Sewers of Paris, Gage, Linoleum Knife, and Off the Cuffs. Thank you so much for listening. We're your hosts, Sir Arcane.
And Lansing Mike.
Wishing you peace, love, and perversion. Good night.
Night.